Hi, everyone. We'll probably get started shortly. Just going to wait for a few more people to come in, give them a couple extra minutes. As a quick intro, I'm Jessica. I'm one of the co-founders at Part 3. My background is in CA and general contractor and working for architects and with consultants. So that's kind of how Part 3 came to be. And there's another Jess on the call here. And she's going to be moderating for me today. And so if you drop any questions along the way, then we'll catch up at the end and everyone can have a chance to answer and let me know what you think and your ideas as well. How many people do we have now, Jess?
We have 37.
Okay, cool. I'll get started and then people can catch up. Okay, so today is obviously about AI and what Part 3 is doing with AI. So we're going to talk about a few different things. I'm going to give a quick overview of AI in the AEC industry, what people are thinking and how firms are using it, and why Part 3 wanted to start using it as well. Then we're going to do a quick talk about shop drawings, because that is the first place that Part 3 has decided that we're going to implement AI. So we'll go through the reasons why, and then I'm going to dive into a demo and show you what's up. So we're going to focus on the goal, really, which is to make your lives easier. I think with everything we do at Part 3, we're just thinking about efficiency. How can we make people's lives easier in terms of team collaboration, getting your work done quickly and properly? So talking about AI adoption in the industry, this is all of these stats are from a Uninet report, which is like, we aren't sponsored by Uninet, I don't care, but they're a great AEC firm. So if you guys want to check out this separately, really great report. So some of the things that we're taking away, first of all, is how can we implement AI meaningfully? Like, we don't want to just say Part 3 does AI for the sake of saying we do AI. We need to make sure that people are actually, we need to make sure that we're actually making the most out of things. We want to do this in a really impactful way. So we're looking at things. So for example, what is keeping people up at night? They are thinking about their operational efficiencies, retention, and recruiting. So those are some big things that we're talking about. Overall economy, we can't do much about that, but we can help people work better. And then when we look at firms with like really good win rates, they are firms that are embracing tech and they are embracing AI. So those are things. Part 3 is obviously there to make people work better and really help you guys win work. We surface a lot of data, but how can we bring AI into that now? And then obviously 1 in 3 firms believe that AI will have a powerful impact for them. How can we move that needle? How can we get more people to understand the impact that this can have? I think when people first started talking about AI, it's, oh no, it's going to replace me. Everything that we're doing, all of the knowledge that you have, you can't be replaced. We are just helping you. We are trying to make your work more efficient, and we are trying to make sure that, all of this basic stuff we can do for you. We don't need to do that heavy lifting. You can still do that. You still need to review things, but we're going to make things and life easier for you. So this is obviously shop drawing reviews. None of this is new information. Everyone on the call here knows how painful shop drawing reviews are. So basically, whether you're new to the industry or you're a vet in this area, you have to do the same process. Every submittal you get, you're comparing it to the specs, to your drawings, everything. You're under tight timelines to get your reviews in and coordinate with the entire consultant team. When I was in the industry, I remember one of my principals at my firm said, you should know the specs like the back of your hand. And I thought, that's a really nice idea. But Control F was my friend. And I would just never know 1,600 pages of specs as much as I really wanted to. So that's kind of where Part 3 was like, this is where we're going to start. Every project has shop drawings. You cannot escape it, no matter if you have a $200,000 small project or you have $1 billion project. Every project has them. No one can get away from this. So I'm going to show you now what we've done in Part 3. If you've already enabled your Submittal Assistant, that's awesome. If you haven't, hopefully after this webinar, you'll be inspired to give it a try. So I'm going to jump in now to Part 3. So everyone can see this? Thumbs up, you can see the app? Okay, cool. So you'll notice on a new project, you have the ability to come in here, and when you go to your submittals log, you can import your project manual. So this is really the point where you're going to say, okay, I have this combined PDF document now. I'm going to bring in part 3. So some of the benefits of this is that we're going to generate your entire log for you. What we're going to do is we're going to go through your project manual, go through all the divisions, and see which ones mention submittals and tell you have a submittal required. If you don't want to do this in part 3, or you're like, my GC, this is their responsibility, this is a free tool outside of part 3. Your GC can use this, upload the specs, and then they get spit out an Excel sheet. This will help them track as well. And it helps you keep in mind, what am I owed? Do I need samples? Am I missing something? So you can import the project manual from here, or you can go to the settings page. So under settings, you're going to see project spec manual. So this is, again, the combined PDF document that you have of all of your project specs. So I'm going to say upload project specs. You can drag and drop your specs in here. And what we're doing is ingesting that document. So I'm going to say enable Submittal Assistant. I want to make sure that this is going to be turned on. And then I can decide if I want to populate this on my logs page. If you already have a bunch of submittals and you're not doing this on a new project from scratch, you can skip this step. You don't need to go down that path, but then you can still enable Submittal Assistant without, messing up or muddying up your logs if you don't want to. So for this one, I'll say I'm going to generate the logs because it's a fresh project for me. So again, now we're going through here, we are uploading everything, and it'll take time because it's a big document. So you can go through here, you'll see the files uploading. When you go back to your logs page, you'll see it there. So now you can view your document here. It's been uploaded, it's being processed. We'll always give you these little hints to let you know, hey, we're working on it, something's coming in. So you can view here, you have all of the same tools here. So of course you can view full screen if you wanted to come back. I can see my submittal assistance turned on. And then if I go to the logs page, this is going to be generating as well. We're pulling in all those submittals that I mentioned. So now I'm going to kind of do this like a cooking show. I'm going to jump into a project that has some information already logged. So if I go into my logs here, I can see this is everything that was generated for me. You can tell that is generated from part 3 because you will have this pending here. So you'll see this attachment sign here and it's pending. That just means that part 3 has uploaded this for you, but there's no attachment there yet. So you don't need to start your review. There's no consultants assigned to it. You don't yet have a task. You're waiting for the GC to come in and upload that shop drawing, or you can come and upload it for them. So I'm going to go through a couple here and just show you what this actually looks like. So if I go into here, I can see this is a glass rocks middle. This is for sheathing, and I'm uploading it the exact same way that I normally would. I'm going through this submittal flow. I'm entering my spec number. Nothing has changed here with the way that you're actually pulling in and creating your submittals. The only thing here now that you have Submittal Assistant enabled is that you're going to see this little beta sign here. So this is in beta because we are always iterating and testing and adding enhancements. So you'll see here, we have 4 hints along the top. These are the hints that we originally were like, these are pretty basic. They apply across multiple spec sections and they could be useful in a lot of different scenarios. Each division is unique, of course. So now we're into the aspect of, okay, maybe we don't need colors for sheathing, but what else could we need? So I'll dive into that in a minute as well. So you can see here on the left-hand side, we have project specifications. This is pulling everything from the manual that I uploaded. These are all the approved manufacturers. I can see here that was uploaded here is an approved manufacturer. So automatically I'm like, okay, cool. I don't need to worry about this. I know it meets the specs. Going into testing and compliance, I can see this is all the testing requirements mentioned in the specs. And we have a lot of orange ticks over here. So when you see an orange tick, it means we think this matches, but if you want to double check, might be a good idea. Green tick is this 100% matches what is outlined in the spec. Colors, obviously no colors for sheathing, and no warranty. So I've leveraged and I've received hints for 2 of these items. Now I can go into additional hints. So here I decided that I was going to click models, and then I click this blue request hints. So this is going to let me know that I am pulling out all of these different models, and it is showing me what I need to have in terms of like fasteners, fire retardants, anything else. These are some other things that you could ask for. So again, sheathing probably doesn't need to have a mock-up or a sample. If I dive into another example here, so that's one of them. And again, as I'm going through here, drop questions or comments in the chat, and then we can come at the end and I can come back to any questions in the app that you have. So this is another one here. This is security film. Again, I've come in here, I get the pop-up that hints are being generated. You'll see this area will say like, hang tight, we're generating hints. Again, we're taking this like 6-page product data sheet and comparing it to 1,600 pages of specs. So it takes time. So don't worry when you see that spinning, you can go and come back, or you can leave it there. It will pop up. It just takes a couple seconds. So again, project specs are on the left. We're comparing it to the actual PDF that you uploaded here. 3M is approved. These are my testing compliance. The project specs say that this is the color required. So we're giving you that heads up, like if that's not mentioned here, maybe you want to add that comment. Maybe you want to annotate and say, you know, like let us know or give us a sample of what this would look like. And then the warranty. The spec said you need a 5-year warranty for this. The product cut sheet mentions the 5-year warranty. Awesome. If the product cut sheet did mention it, that's probably another comment that you want to make on the submittal. Say, refer to specs, 5-year warranty needed. Then if I go into additional hints in the top right here, I said, give me some extra hints. So I clicked model. I could click installer experience. Do I need a mock-up? Do I need samples? And I can go in and I request these hints. So again, you can pick what you want. Some of these will say recommended, because now we're going through that process of saying, for these divisions, most of the time, this is what people are asking questions about. And most of the time, based on all the samples that we got from our customers and from anyone who is helping us through this alpha beta phase, these are the most common items mentioned in the project specs. So again, this is comparing your product cut sheet to everything that you have in the manual. Again, takes time. So when you're looking at this, some of the information that you want to consider is, or some of the thoughts that you might be having is, can my GC see this? Can my consultant see this? Who can use this? So if your GC is uploading things to part 3, let's say they receive a cut sheet from their subcontractor and they upload it in part 3, they can automatically tell if this is a product that's in the specs and if it meets requirements. If it's not listed, maybe they need to revise it and submit it as an alternate, or maybe they need to tell the subs, that's not what was in the spec. Please give me like the right cut sheet. Your consultants can also come in here and see that. They can request hints, they can review things, and then most importantly, you can. So none of this is hidden based on permissions. We're leveraging this information for everybody. So now that I've requested this, I can see 3M Ultra S800. That's the product model that I'm supposed to have. And then as well, I can see I can have this security film, and then we're going to pull out all that information for you again, so you can double check beside it. And then we do need some installer experience. So the specs have said that someone with experience in this particular area is required. You can't just have anyone installing this. Also, a mock-up is required. We want to see what this looks like, and that's outlined in the specs as well. And we need samples. We really want to see exactly, if you're applying a film to glazing, you want to know what that looks like at the end of the day. So those are pretty obvious comments and requests. So this is, again, just a hint for you and a reminder. You can always go back to the specs. All of this review on the right-hand side, nothing changes there in terms of consultant review process and what it looks like when you're collaborating down here at the bottom. So all of this is meant to do the heavy lifting for you when you're comparing your project manual. You don't have to go in and check the models, the manufacturers, the warranty. We're surfacing all of that for you. So we're not replacing you. We also want to make sure that you don't forget to do your job and actually do your review hints, your actual reviews. You just want to make sure that we're making you more efficient and that the team can work better together. Another example that I have here is let me find one for this one. Okay, so this is an example that I wanted to show you. So here I have Owens Corning, and I can see that they're listed in the specs and green tick, everything's good. I can see I have some testing compliance. That looks good. It meets the standards. There's no results for warranty or anything like that. But I have someone who submitted an alternate. So Rockwell's not listed in the specs, but maybe if I dive in, I can see testing compliance. How does it stack up? This will really help you when you're trying to compare apples to apples. If someone proposed an alternate, we can do some of that heavy lifting for you and tell you if it stacks up. Some of those scenarios especially are you just can't get your hands on a product. So is there an alternate that you could consider? Sure, if it saves you money, awesome. But does it actually meet those spec requirements for you? Again, we're not replacing spec writers. Everyone has a lot of information that AI can't necessarily get their hands on right now and make sense of that. But we can help you get a head start on that. So that is basically how we're using AI right now. So if you have your Submittal Assistant turned on, you're uploading a shop drawing, and then you want to make sure you go in here for the additional hints. So I'll show you what this looks like now. I'll go through and I'll upload a sample here. I'll just say, let's call this Tremco. Again, nothing changes here in terms of how you're assigning and selecting people. All you're going to do is go in and drag and drop your cut sheet. I'll say, again, you can upload as many as you want. You can make sure that everything is populating for the individual files. So what I mean by that is for each different attachment, we're going to pull out separate hints for that. And then this is the pop-up that you'll see is that we're generating those hints. We're working in the background, and you'll see that again for each different attachment that you have. The additional hints in the top right corner, you'll see that we have these ones that are recommended. So for this specific, product and division, normally we see people call out certain models or products, and we also see people want some samples. So I'm going to request any additional hints for that. I'll see what it pulls out from the specs and what it tells me if I get any hints, if I get any models that are specifically called out. So these recommended ones are just based on the industry knowledge that we're gathering from you guys. And we're trying to go through division by division and make sure that we're stacking up. And this is also as a side comment, because we always say we want your feedback. So this is our take on it. And we are open to feedback. If you think there is something that's super helpful, please let us know. So again, I can see here the different products that are coming up. No mock-ups needed, but we do want samples. So those are good comments to make. And this gives you that head start so that when you can actually go and make your comment, maybe I'll say here, samples required as per spec, submit separately. And that's my review. So now I can go here. I can see Tremco's listed. It's good. I'm meeting my compliance. We wanted black and it lists black. So I would make that comment as well that this should be black. And the warranty here, we call out warranties here, but they don't really mention it. They just say it's available. So maybe you want to say, refer to spec for warranty requirements. And then again, down here, you're getting the same thing. Dow, you're meeting all the testing compliances, the colors. Again, they don't mention anything in the warranty. So you can go through all these different things, make your comments. The hope is that this gives you a head start on those comments. So I want to be conscious of time and make sure I leave enough time for questions. And especially if anyone has been using the Submittal Assistant in part 3 and you have any feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's really important for us to understand the value that we're giving for you. So use this thumb up, thumbs down. Was it good? Was it helpful or not? Because we review that internally. Okay, what division was that not helpful for? Why wasn't it helpful? What information should we be surfacing? So I know it seems like it's hiding in this corner here, but if you have time during your review process, if you can click thumbs up or thumbs down, that would be super helpful for us to make sure that we're continuously building something that you guys like. Okay, I'll leave it open for questions now. Jess, if we have any in the chat or if anyone wants to speak, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely encourage more people to pop in some questions here. I'll go in order. The first one is, will part 3 have a directory over time where alternatives can be suggested due to a long lead times or availability of the specified?
So I don't know if we could have a directory to give that kind of advice because, spec writers are super qualified for that. One thing that we have been talking about internally is how can we create this community? We have so many customers that work on like very similar project types. Everyone uses very similar products. So perhaps how can we create that community where people can say, does anyone have an alternate for this? Has anyone ever worked on this detail? And you guys can share with each other. Again, the economic drivers for this, like when drywall wasn't available, when masonry was really short, what are those things that other firms are doing? So I don't know if we would ever be in the position to propose alternates. I think that's kind of, I don't want to like become a consultant for projects, but I think it's really important for you guys to be able to share and like leverage that knowledge from each other. So I think as we grow, making that community could be something really powerful.
Awesome. The next question is, can part 3 work with GC submittals via Procore? It seems like a lot of GCs are on Procore.
Yes, definitely. So if you have this connected to Procore, you're still going to get all the exact same AI prompts. So when a submittal comes in from Procore, when you add it to your workflow, which is that standard flow that we have right now, step 1, you're pulling in your attachment, you'll get all the same AI hints, and you'll have that same additional hints in the top right corner. So you can enable it. My only suggestion there is that you probably wouldn't want to populate your logs when you upload your spec, because that will muddy the waters, because in a Procore case, the GC is taking the lead on the submittals. So I wouldn't generate the logs. I would just enable the Submittal Assistant so that you get those hints when you pull in your attachments.
And will we be sharing a recording of this presentation?
Yes, we will be. We have a YouTube channel that we've been trying to throw them up on. So we'll keep posting things there and then we can share it.
Awesome. That's all the questions in the chat so far. We still have a couple minutes if people want to get some more in.
Awesome. I think, like, first of all, I do want to say, like, we really appreciate it. We had some customers in alpha as we're going through and we're, submitting, we're asking people for door hardware schedules, any samples that you feel comfortable giving us. That would be amazing. So you can use the question mark down here, drop us a link, send me, a copy of your documents, your drawings. I know you can like delete any project confidential information, but anything that you have for us is super helpful. It's the way that we can build these things and the way that we can make sure that they're working well and people are getting the results that we want them to get. And we also have some help docs here. So
And
we have our, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, we had a few more questions come in whenever you have a second.
Oh, yeah, cool. Let's do it. If you ever need to find help docs on this, you can click here and then clicking, just as a general FYI, clicking the title opens it up into the big area so you can see what's going on.
Okay. Awesome. Ted has a two-parter question here. Is the feature live already? Will it be launched in the next few days? And are you still working on it, i.e. improving it, or is it, and part 3 will rely on further feedback from your customers?
Yes, so it's already live. If you go into your project settings now on the general area, you will see this. You'll see the ability to upload your project manuals. As with everything in part 3, we're always going to continue improving it and enhancing it, whether or not it's reliability, adding more prompts, and we do want that feedback. So again, the thumbs up, thumbs down, any written feedback that you have for us. For example, if you think of like in division 08, it would really be great if you guys could surface this information. If you think it's common in that division, or you think that's a gap that we have, give us that feedback, because it's what we have to go on, right? We don't want to make assumptions about what's helpful. So make sure you let us know.
And then Michael's got us it looks like a feature suggestion perhaps. Can we add a workflow that hints at who needs to review? For example, RTU submittal should be reviewed by architect, mechanical engineer, structural, and electrical, but carpet submittal would be reviewed only by interior and architect.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Noted.
Awesome. That's it from the chat.
That's it? Okay, cool. I left enough time for, a long session, but I think we just really want to iterate that we're here, we are improving things, and we want to use AI in a meaningful way. Yeah, so I appreciate everyone joining the call, taking time over your lunch, breakfast, wherever you are in the world. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. We'll send a follow-up email with the recording shortly.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.